Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Madness live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Google MF Michael Fletcher alongside my good friend Anthony Florio. And guys, what a night that we got here for you. As always, we'll start it off with NXT, then to be followed by tonight's AEW Dynamite, and then at the end of the night, we will be previewing Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. We'll get into the game much later in the evening, but right now we're going to start off, as always, with NXT, and here we go. So, NXT started off with we started off with a promo done by Braun Breaker, interrupted by Pretty Deadly. And yeah, I mean, it was an okay segment. I don't think there was really anything amazing to talk about here. I mean, it was what it needed it to be. Obviously, uh, there was so much different ideas what they wanted it to do, but you had Pretty Deadly, you know, going after Braun Breaker. Wesley comes out. That sets up for a match later in the evening. And like I said, it was an okay segment. I don't think there was nothing too special about it, but it was fine for what it was worth. So really nothing more to add. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
The interactions here were fun as Breaker continued to show he can be an entertainer and Wesley continued to challenge himself on the mic. Pretty Deadly held it down and remained the best part of the NXT Tag Team division. The show needed a hook with a card that lacked hype, and luckily, NXT had a plan. Braun Breaker and Wesley as a tag team does not make a ton of sense, beyond the two both being face champions. But it should make for an engaging match. And the hope was that challengers would emerge throughout the night to create new stories in NXT while fans get a fun one-off encounter. Braun Breaker agreed that Prince and Wilson had great hair, then gave them a polite introduction, only to turn the moment into a championship challenge. Pretty Deadly wanted no more interruptions, but instead R-Truth arrived to party with the face champions ahead of his match with Grayson Waller, which we're going to address right about now. So by default, this was the segment of the night. It came out really good, I thought, and it set up for a humongous main event. Opportunity for Braun Breaker and Wesley to become double champions. Both of them, double champions. Did that happen? Was history made? Was there an unprecedented crowning? You'll have to wait and find out. So MF, R-Truth, and Grayson Waller set me up with it.
Yeah, and it was Grayson Waller winning the match via referee stoppage in 7 minutes and 14 seconds. So Anthony, it's yours.
Yikes. Oh boy. All right. Now I know I've been, very harsh about R-Truth and the campy comedy stuff that he does and all that. And because you know me, I'm a no nonsense guy. I have no tolerance for campy comedy unless it's actually funny. And usually when R-Truth produces the campy comedy, it's usually not funny. It's usually lame and corny. But at the same time, he is a man and he is a wrestler, and injuries are part of the business. And sometimes injuries happen, no matter who is involved. Truth is one of the safer performers in WWE and has stayed healthy much of his career. Unfortunately, he got caught in the ropes and he may have injured his knee. Hopefully, he will be better than the fall looked. Truth had recently been gaining back a spotlight, and he will be missed if he has to step away for a while. And given the unfortunate circumstance, MF, if it's okay with you, I would like to, give this a no rating, an NA for this, because that's really all there is to say on that. And after his dubious win, Waller bragged about being the best no matter who he fought from NXT, Raw, or SmackDown. Good improv from Waller, but at the same time, we wish R-Truth the best, and hopefully the injury is not as bad as we saw it, and we wish him a speedy recovery. and definitely keep him in prayer. No doubt about that. I'll keep it in prayer. So praying for a speedy recovery and for immediate healing. No question about it. So not much more to say. MF, it's going to have to be a no rating from me due to the unfortunate circumstance.
Yeah, you never ever want to see an injury happen in a match like that. As you know, as we well documented a couple of weeks ago about what happened to Hangman Adam Page when he got injured during his AEW World Title fight against John Moxley. And on that night, we didn't even give it a rating. We tossed that out automatically. So yeah, this was an automatic toss out. Obviously, you never, ever, ever want to see an injury happen, but you know it is wrestling, guys. It does actually do happen. Unforeseen injuries does appear many times inside the ring, and you know there. I know it's a dangerous sport. It's dangerous, and you know what? We always said wrestling is indeed actually real, and this is unfortunately the real part of professional wrestling when you get injuries or things that happen out of nowhere. And unfortunately, this was one of those cases. So yes, it's an automatic no rating. There's really nothing more to say there. Um, then after that, we got ourselves a promo segment by Ava Rain, the daughter of legendary wrestler Rock the Rock Dwayne Johnson. This is his daughter Sloane. Um, she's joined Schism. She joined Joe Gacy's group. And I know in the back of Anthony Florio's and Michael Bullock's mind is, oh my God, baby girl, what have you done? Why would you join that crew? You have so much potential. Why would you go with those jack-offs? Well, hey, by hook or by crook, you got to admit she's done pretty well under the circumstances. Now, I'm not going to say that she's blowing the world by storm, but I will say this: first two promos, her how she says she's been enlightened and she's seen the light and everything else. I mean, hey, I can't wait to see her in the ring. Promo wise, not bad, pretty good. You know, she now obviously there's going to be a lot of comparisons because of the fact that who she's related with, because it's not just the Rock's family. You know all that is connected. With Roman, with the Usos, with Tamina, with because they're all part of that family tree. It's like a generational thing. It's like the Hart family. Let's say it like that. This is like the Hart family. This is like the Guerreros. So there's a lot of lineage that Sloane is walking herself into, or Ava Rain is walking herself into. I'll say this before we toss it over to Michael Bullock. Anthony Florio, not bad. From her reveal a couple of weeks ago on NXT to now, at least promo wise, not bad. We like to see more, but as far as like a small sample size, I'm thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, absolutely. Vic Joseph sat down with Schism. Ava Rain explained how Joe Gacy helped her through tough times. She was also insulted by Cameron Grimes, insinuating she had been brainwashed. And it was announced that Joe Gacy will face Cameron Grimes next week on NXT, this on Tuesday night. This was very good, especially Ava Rain's promo work. Very well done indeed. And with her in the group, that might actually make this group a little better. So we'll have to wait and see on that. So solid promo work there from Ava Rain there, no doubt about that. So and I'm sure Papa Rock was very happy with how that turned out. The Anawahi family tradition, MF. That's what you're referring to. Yes, absolutely. I mean, from the top all the way to the bottom. They're the Samoan version of the Hart family because there's a lot of them. The head shrinkers. You had the original Samoans, Afa and Sika. Like I said, the head shrinkers, Fatu and Samu. You also had Yokozuna, and of course nowadays with The Rock and Roman and Tamina and the Usos and Solo Sikoa and Naomi, who married into that family because she's married to Jay Uso. So, or I should say Jimmy Uso rather. But nonetheless, that is a family legacy, and now Simone, not Sloan MF, it's Simone Johnson. That's who that is. The daughter of The Rock, and I know Papa Rock and all of her, all of her cousins and what have you. I'm sure they're all very proud of the immediate progress that she has made. So we'll wait and see. So we'll see where this leads. So far so good, solid start. So MF, we got to catch Bullock up a little bit. So
Mike, there's not really much that we need to really catch you up on. We did start off with the promo segment by Braun Breaker, interrupted by Pretty Deadly. We talked about that. As far as the match goes between Grayson Waller and R-Truth, we automatically NA'd it due to the injury to R-Truth. We gave it a no rating, and now we've just gotten into about Ava Raina and cutting that promo. So if you want to give your quick thoughts, you can go right on in.
Yeah, not bad for Ava Rain's first promo. And like you just said, Florio, somewhere Papa Rock must be smiling and how proud he is of his daughter, and so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out with her with Schism. So yeah, nice first start, and yeah, basically saying how much Joe Gacy helped her during the tough times, and how insulted she was by Cameron Grimes. So we'll wait and see what happens. But good first showing for Ava Rain. So it's yours, Fletch.
All right, so next up we had was Kiana James going one-on-one with Thea Hale. Kiana James won the match in 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
I'll give it about 1.5 for the effort here. The match was short, but it was a nice win for Kiana James. So I'm not going to waste more time on this. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, there's not much to talk about. Maybe 1.5 stars. Like I said, it was a nice win for Kiana, but nothing that would thread the needle or give us any more bigger deal or anything like that. So yeah, there's really nothing more to add. So Anthony, quick thought.
There was not much of a match here, but the story was interesting. With Bodie Hayward sadly released yesterday, Chase U is moving forward with Duke Hudson as the unlikely new addition to the stable. He is still a heel and adds an interesting layer to Chase U. And Charlie Dempsey is also back in action, and hopefully both Hudson and Dempsey can use this new spotlight afforded to them by associating with the entertaining Chase U to prove their own worth to NXT. So 1 to 1.5 for the effort, and you could tell before the match, Thea Hale was nervous, missing the flag bearer of Chase U, Bodie Hayward. And Hudson appeared, grabbed the flag, excited to rep the university. And then Duke Hudson saved Hale by putting her foot on the rope, but Andre Chase sent him to the back for cheating because that's not how he rolls. So, and then you notice after the match in a backstage moment, Kiana James' assistant handed an envelope to Fallon Henley during an interview where Briggs and Jensen were trying to focus on possibly being the team to dethrone Pretty Deadly for the tag titles. So it'll be interesting to see what that was. It was basically Fallon Henley. I guess you could say she got served, I guess. So, we're going to have to wait and see where that leads. So, but a big win, a nice win for Kiana James. And I got to tell you, if you know me doing the heel commentary on this definitely would be a Tony girl. I'd be taking a major liking to Kiana James because of the whole businesswoman gimmick. And, I'm definitely liking it. So,
yeah. I kind of had a feeling you would get into that, but the one thing that I would be wondering is what is the reason for her what is her serving Kiana James, like under what grounds
you mean
is
Fallon
she trying to Fallon Henley, I should say, yeah. What is Kiana's play here? What is she up to? That's the one thing I would be bringing to the table on this one. Being
smell
kind
a rat
of that.
MF? Smell a rat MF?
I think there's something going on. I
No
don't. I can't put my finger on it yet. Maybe this is her way of maybe trying to bring Fallon to her corporation. Maybe it's not a summons. Maybe it was a contract or maybe an offer.
That would be interesting.
I mean, that's what I would be thinking, because if you think about it, maybe her play is that you're way too big of a star to be associated with a bunch of hee-haw losers. And why don't you live in the real world where business women like us would dominate NXT? I think that would be the perfect play if you're Kiana James, if you're going to throw that at Fallon Henley.
Very intriguing stuff, and that's definitely something we'll most certainly keep an eye on.
A very
on
close
the next
eye
show.
on this. This has gotten very interesting. Michael Bullock as the voice of NXT, as the man of NXT. What's your thoughts on this? It looks like maybe Kiana James might be putting a business offer on the table to Fallon Henley. That's what it looks like, at least in my eyes. I don't know where you go with it.
Bullock, are you there? I don't know if he stepped away he might have stepped away or something. So,
there you go.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, you probably stepped away. No, we were just talking about the Kiana James and maybe her trying to lure Fallon Henley away from Brooks and Jensen and maybe to her group because she got served with some papers. We just wanted to get a quick thought.
Oh, well, what did you guys say?
Well, I pretty much was thinking that it's more of a business play. Florio kind of agreed with me for a little bit, but nothing too crazy. We said we'll keep our eyes peeled on it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I smell something going on. I mean, with Kiana James. I mean, I just don't see how Fallon Henley would fit in with her with her group, stable, whatever the heck you want to call it. But I don't know about you guys. Something stinks, and I don't like it. But we've seen crazier things happen, so we'll wait and see how it goes. But I just don't see how Fallon Henley is going to join with Kiana James. I mean, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
But we'll wait and see.
We'll wait and see. But I will say this, man. Next up that we did have was the celebration for Mandy Rose being the NXT Women's Champion for over 1 year now. And yeah, look, it was standard. It was basically what you expected it to be. And then, honestly, truthfully, Alba Fire comes out. So obviously they're not done with this war between Alba Fire and Mandy Rose. So they're trying to keep this rivalry going. I feel like right now there's really nothing for Mandy to do until someone unseats her and takes the belt from her. She is on the verge of becoming one of the longest reigning NXT women's champions in the history of the company. And there's a few people out there that does not want to see her break that record. But right now, she is definitely there. She's in striking distance. I don't know how long Asuka's reign was for the women's title. I don't know where her reign as it related um to Shayna Baszler's is, but she's got to be getting close to that all-time record. So she's gone 1 year, but the way she's going, she might actually do it. She might actually break the all-time record. So we'll see. Alba's there. She wants it. So don't count her out. But right now, I don't know. We'll wait and see. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, this was one of the best promos Mandy Rose has cut in the past year. It was angry and heartfelt, selling how much this reign has meant to her without even losing the heel sneer. It seems that before Mandy Rose can look forward, she will have to defeat Alba Fire one more time. If Gigi Dolan and JC Jane can be taken out ahead of time, Mandy Rose and Alba Fire can put on an engaging final match in their rivalry. And Dolan and James showed a video package highlighting Mandy Rose's 371-day and counting NXT Women's Championship reign. And Rose talked about what it meant to her to prove herself among the best women in NXT over the last year. And we know the story. We know the history when it comes to Mandy Rose. I mean, when she first came in, she was like that, blonde, bleach blonde, Barbie doll, ho-hum diva, but almost like a Trish Stratus when she first came in, bleach blonde, ho-hum diva and all that. But ever since they started pushing her as a serious wrestler, I mean, look how far she's come. It's amazing to see the rise of Mandy Rose as the NXT Women's Champion. And the record currently belongs to Asuka. She technically held it for 510 days, but it was 522 days because WWE recognizes Asuka's reign as ending on September the 6th of 2017 when that episode aired on a tape delay. So as of right now, looking at the history of the title, Mandy right now is currently the third longest champion. The next one that she's gunning for is Shayna Baszler, 416 days as the NXT Women's Champion. Her second reign, Shayna Baszler, 416 days, and then Asuka, originally 510, but technically 522 because of that tape delay, and that's how WWE rolls with it. So she still has a bit of a ways to go. We'll see if she surpasses Baszler, but I believe the defense will be in 2 weeks. So her reign will be at 385 when we get there. So could Alba Fire end it there? Or does Mandy find another way to win and somehow, some way, keep this thing going? So
I will say this. If she can get through Alba Fire, I honestly believe she will break Baszler's record. But the question
then, and become the number 2 champion.
And become number 2. The big question then at that point is
Asuka.
Can she get to Asuka's 522? Because I know everybody's going to say, oh, it's 510. No, 522. That's the mark. That's the mark that I'm holding it at. That's the mark Florio holds it at. That's the mark I know, Bullock, you're going to hold it at. If she gets past 522, best women's champion of all time in NXT history.
Agreed.
Then there's no more debate. I know a lot of people are going to start poo-pooing and start pissing about it, but if she gets past 523, she's got it. There's no argument. So if she gets past Alba Fire, that gives her 385, you said?
Yeah, 385 is what it will be when we get to her next defense against Alba Fire, because they said it was in 2 weeks.
So if she gets past that, now the question becomes that 400 something now becomes in major danger. Because remember, you don't necessarily have to defend the title within 30 days. So they could run that sucker as much as they want. So by then, she'll be able to break it. So at least to break Baszler's record. Then the question becomes, does she get to Asuka? So we'll see. All right. So with that said, I guess we'll move on. Next up we had
Did I get
Anthony.
your thoughts on it?
Oh, did you give your thoughts about it? I thought you gave your thoughts.
No, Bullock never did, and
All right.
and I was pretty much all set. So Michael Bullock, your thoughts on Mandy Rose as she continues to climb the ranks? Shayna Baszler and her sights next.
Yeah, I mean, when Mandy Rose first came along, I mean, she was a blonde beauty that was on the cover of these different magazines and all that. But ever since she returned to NXT and went with the dark hair, whew, she's become something different, and she's been basically dominating the NXT women's division. I mean, going on 371 days, and now in 2 weeks' time, she's going to have to defend the title again against Alba Fire. So if she can get past that, then I think she'll definitely pass the 400-day mark. But can she surpass the long reign of Asuka? I think we'll just have to wait and see on that. But this was a great promo, and like you said, one of Mandy Rose's best promos in a long time. So we'll see if she survives Alba Fire one more time in 2 weeks. So there's really nothing more for me to say. So now let's move on, Pledge.
All right. It was Indy Hartwell going up against Zoe Stark. Indy Hartwell wins the match in 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Anthony, a big moment for Indy Hartwell. Big win for her.
Absolutely a big win. Sleeper fight of the night. I will give this about 2.5 stars. One of the best matches Hartwell has had in a long time. She looked like a veteran playing off Zoe Stark, who remains a constant pro. It was a surprising victory that could be helping to right indie wrestling's direction in NXT. And meanwhile, it looks like Zoe Stark is heading toward a dark path, maybe a heel turn that could lead to her breaking up with Nikita Lyons. And it's a shame that the rare women's tag team NXT has built up is already falling apart. And Stark was still moping this week backstage, which got on the nerves of Hartwell. I mean, the two argued in the locker room to set up a match. Stark's anger almost got the best of her in this match, nearly getting disqualified for stomping on Hartwell in the corner. Lyons had to calm her down. And Stark promised that she would get back in her bag for next week. Chance and Carter mocked her, which almost set her off again. Women's tag team title rematch, Chance and Carter versus Stark and Lyons. And that's going to be next week. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, if Stark and Lyons win the titles, okay, everything's great. But if they lose the titles, I think that's where Zoe's going to complete the heel turn right there.
Yeah, and I hate to say this, but I think Katana, Chance, and Kaden Carter are going to retain the titles, and I think this is where the heel turn will be complete, and she'll basically beat the holy hell out of Nikita Lyons, and yeah, it would be a shame. I mean, after pairing these two up, and to the point that, and let's not forget, guys, that these two were going to be involved in the WWE Women's Tag Team Tournament when those titles were vacated. So it would be a shame, but maybe a heel turn for Zoe Stark could work out well for her. So we'll wait and see, but 2.5 stars. And yeah, like you said, Nikita Lyons basically had to calm her down at times, but once Indy Hartwell got the win, and by the way, biggest win for Indy Hartwell so far. And yeah, so and you thought Zoe Stark was pissed off already when she lost. I mean, it's almost like she was ready to throw a big old temper tantrum backstage, and to the point that she wanted to go after the cameraman. And memo to the cameraman: never mess with someone who's in a foul mood like Zoe Stark, because you would have been fixing to get your ass kicked by Zoe Stark. So we'll wait and see what happens. So Fletch, it is yours, and I think the heel turn's going to be complete next week.
Yeah, I agree with that. No doubt about it. I'll give this about three. I'll give this about two and a quarter. This was fine. Nothing more to say. Then we had Valentina Feroz versus Cora Jade. Cora Jade wins the match in 3 minutes and 37 seconds. But after the match was over, Wendy Chu showed up. Oh boy, Wendy. Um, it looks like she's picking a fight with Cora Jade. I don't know if that's a smart idea or not, Michael Bullock. But then again, with Wendy, she's such a wild card. You kind of don't really know what this baby girl is gonna do from one week to the next. Mike?
Yeah, I'm right here. Obviously, I mean, the match was too short, but and I can maybe only give it one for the effort, but yeah, I mean, it looks like Cora Jade's now got a new problem, and that's Wendy Chu. So it's very interesting. So we'll wait and see how that plays out. So Fletch, it is yours. I mean, I'm a little surprised about this because I thought for sure with Cora Jade winning a match and, of course, her rival Roxanne Perez winning one, I thought that it looked like they were going to be heading for a rubber match. So, but it looks like they're moving on from it.
Yeah, they're probably putting it on hold right now, putting that one on ice. Which you know what? I'm not mad with that. I think they deserve a little bit of a cool off. Give them a little bit of a breather. Let them do some other stuff. You can always run this back at a later date. Maybe next time for the NXT Women's Title, when if you believe everybody, if you believe the prognosticators and everybody else, it sounds like they're setting it up for Roxanne Perez to be the one to win it all and take the NXT Women's Title away off Mandy Rose. When, we don't know, but we'll leave that at that. So you can always do a rivalry there and then let that happen, but we'll wait and see. But Wendy versus Cora, that could be interesting. I like Cora Jade. I like her attitude. I like what she brings to the table. Wendy's, like I said, is nothing but a wild card. It's like you don't know what you're going to get from her. One night she'll be, she might be goofy, comedy, whatever. Other times, when she gets serious, she's one of the best female wrestlers I see in the ring. So this could be very interesting. Anthony, this has got that makings of a sleeper fight of the night type of a match.
Oh, absolutely it does. As is the theme with a lot of the matches, there was not much here, but Feroz continues to look solid in short bursts against serious competition. She challenged Jade more than one would have expected, which is a sign NXT is starting to trust her. I'll give it about another 1 to 1.5 for that effort. Cora Jade is the featured star in this moment, and it looks like she will be moving on to a feud with Wendy Chu. And both women have the talent to surprise fans while continuing to prove themselves worthy of a main event spot. And before the match, Feroz asked Sanga to be in her corner, but Veer Mahan told him to stay in the back. And Chu was seen watching this from behind a couch where she was sleeping. And then Jade punished Feroz with a running back elbow into the ropes, then choked her out on the second rope. And Jade tried to do more damage to Feroz, but Wendy Chu made the save. So definitely those two are on a collision course, no doubt about it. And yeah, they could easily put on a sleeper fight of the night here based on their bodies of work. even though I'm not crazy about the Wendy Chu gimmick. You guys already know that, but she can wrestle. I will say that. So, we'll wait and see. So, 1 to 1.5 stars for the match, but for the post match, very interesting development. And a Cora Jade Wendy Chu match could definitely deliver whenever they decide to do it. So there isn't much more to say on this. So MF, let's continue on.
Main event of the evening, as it was Pretty Deadly versus Wesley and Braun Breaker for the NXT Tag Team Championships. The winners of the bout in 11 minutes and 57 seconds, and still the NXT Tag Team Champions, Pretty Deadly. This had a lot of chaos after the match was over. Solid main event, 3.5 stars. But like I said, it was a major overbook more than anything else. Kind of wish it wouldn't have been, but it is what it is. But still, solid for what it was worth. Florio, good main event, but the champions remain the champions.
Pretty Deadly continues to dominate against capable competition. Wilson and Prince may come off as ridiculous heels, but this team rather, has consistently lived up to the legacy of the NXT Tag Team Championships more than anyone else in the last year. This match was less than it could have been. It felt like it could have gone at least another 5 minutes, but it was still a fun main event. It was the fight of the night. And what mattered more was how many new threats were set up for Breaker as the title picture continues to evolve. Breaker versus Wagner is not the most exciting matchup, but NXT is at least not resting and waiting for NXT Deadline to get main event stories moving. This was about a 3.5 star match for the fight of the night honors. Mr. Stone interrupted Breaker and Lee backstage, warning Breaker that Wagner was coming for his title. And later in the night, Apollo Crews made his claim to a championship match, only to be interrupted by Von Wagner. Lee got isolated in this match for a while, but he managed to send both heels to the outside, then make a mad dash for the hot tag to Breaker, who hit an impressive double suplex on Pretty Deadly before throwing Lee on to both. And after Lee lost, he did not hesitate to dive right onto Mello, and the two brawled all the way to the back. And Crews was shown watching the ending of the show closely, but JD McDonough arrived to warn him that the necessary evil was also still interested in gold. We got a lot of challengers here. We got Von Wagner in the mix. Apollo Crews wants in the mix. And, of course, JD McDonough, he still has his sights set on the NXT Championship. So, we're going to have to wait and find out. But for right now, this was a 3.5 star match. This was the fight of the night, hands down. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, so much for Braun Breaker and Wes Lee becoming double champions. The Pretty Deadly retains with a little help from Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give this about 3.25 stars. I mean, this was definitely the fight of the night. And yeah, Wes Lee and Braun Breaker had a chance to become double champions, but Carmelo Hayes, who was probably still seething about losing that ladder match where he had a chance to three-peat and become a 3-time NXT North American champion, he basically cost the two of them the match. And while Wes Lee and Carmelo Hayes were going at it, and then you had Von Wagner taking out Braun Breaker. So I think Von Wagner looks like he's going to be the next challenger for the NXT Championship. So yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. So it's yours, Fletch.
All right, and with that, we do lead into the overall review. Anthony Florio, right on to cue. You lead off.
6 to 6.5 out of 10 for me. The matches were not really my cup of tea, to be honest with you. But, we did have some solid storyline advancement here. The main event was the fight of the night, no question about that. And, we had maybe 1 or 2 other solid matches, and throw in that solid opening segment with Breaker, Lee, and Pretty Deadly. The Mandy Rose celebration was very well done, especially Mandy Rose. She came off really good. And yeah, some interesting stuff for next week. Of course, that big women's tag team title matchup with Chance and Carter defending against Stark and Lyons. It'll be interesting to see the dynamic for that matchup. And of course, we also had Cameron Grimes against Joe Gacy. And of course, Damon Kemp and Brutus Creed are going to go at it in a 5-minute challenge. So see how that plays out. But I could give this about a 6 to 6.5 for the effort. So not much more to say here. Mr. NXT, Michael Bullock, let's get your thoughts on last night's NXT. 6.5 for me. What says you?
Yeah, 6.5 for me. I mean, there were some things I could have done without. I mean, there were some other good things, but yeah. So I'll just say that this was an alright show. So 6.5. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, 6.5. I think it was an okay show. It could have been a lot more better, but it was solid for what it was worth. We got really nothing more to add. Now it's time for AEW Dynamite, and we will begin that right now. So AEW, we started off uh, live from from Baltimore, Maryland, and we started off with Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal. Darby Allin wins the match. Jay Lethal, I should say, won the match in 9 minutes and 5 seconds, and then they started to lay the beat down on Darby, which prompted the music or the man that looked like Sting, but then Sting wasn't the real Sting. It ended up being Cole Carter, member of the Factory, and he started doing the beat down. Sting music hits again, and we're thinking, oh, it's gonna be the real Sting. So the guys go out to the ring. Next thing you know, there's somebody behind Darby, and we're like, wait a minute, who is that? That's not Sting. And he's got a guitar. Oh, no way, it can't be him. Boom! Darby gets laid out, left in a bloody heap. It was freaking Jeff Jarrett. He starts railing on AEW, talking about the fans, talking about Tony Schiavone and the commentary crew, punking out the camera people. I'm surprised he didn't even take a shot at Tony freaking Khan, for heaven's sake. Then talk about the AEW fans called them toxic. Oh my goodness. Talk about a firebomb. He just lit one through it and then does his classic slap nuts on a la WCW. The music hit. That's the infamous Jarrett music from, I guess you could say, WCW, mainly from Impact Wrestling.
That's the Impact theme.
Yeah, that's Impact's theme. So, oh my goodness. Anthony, 3.5 stars for the match, but we're not even talking about the fight.
No.
Jeff freaking Jarrett is in All Elite Wrestling, and dude, he just brought a bomb. He brought the matches, he brought the gasoline, and set a fire ablaze through AEW.
What was the time of that fall again?
Huh?
What was the time of that fall again?
9:05. After all that.
9:05. All right. I think 3.5 is a little bit of a reach, but I will gladly give it 3 to 3.25 though. All right. An uber athletic match saw Darby Allin do what he typically does, fight back from underneath while showing considerable resiliency and guts along the way. With that being said, what happened here was straight out of 2000 WCW early TNA. Fake Sting, illogical surprises for the sake of surprises, and Jeff Jarrett collecting a paycheck from another major promoter made this angle look more like something from the turn of the century than what you expect out of AEW. But with that said, Jeff Jarrett was great and can make just about anything work, as was the case here. He cut his promo with conviction and elevated the quality of this whole thing exponentially. good match and an above-average promo helped, but the booking, like much of AEW here in 2022, left much to be desired. But Allen countered the lethal injection into a sleeper. Referee Bryce Remsburg ejected Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh from ringside, only for someone perceived to be Sting blasted Darby Allin with a bat to the ribs, setting up the finish. Cole Carter, who was best known in NXT as Troy Donovan, Troy Two Dimes Donovan, as part of the family with Tony D'Angelo and Channing Lorenzo. Cole Carter revealed himself to be under the Sting getup, only for the real Sting to hit the ring and make the save. And Jeff Jarrett appeared and laid out Sting with a guitar shot, then cut a scathing promo in which he took credit on behalf of his family for all that AEW is and has become. You heard the theme. That's the "It's my world. It's my effing world." I mean, MF, you know the theme. You love the theme. It was one of your favorite TNA Impact theme songs of all time, as it is for me as well. I love that song just as much as you do, and the fun we used to have with that back in the day when Jeff Jarrett was dominating the early days of TNA Impact Wrestling. And hey, he's got history with Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt. Remember, Lethal and Dutt worked for him. Lethal and Dutt were two of the pioneers of the X Division. Let's not forget that. And Jeff Jarrett was the one who was the one who made that all possible. He and his father, Jerry Jarrett, they started that promotion 20 years ago. And look where it is now. I mean, it's reaching new heights right now. And but man alive, Jeff Jarrett and AEW business has indeed picked up. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be very interesting to see where this ends up leading. But wow. You remember just a few months ago, a little over 3 months ago, in the SummerSlam, when he was the guest referee for that Uso Street Profits tag team title match, and was in WWE, had a pretty decent position there, but then they let him go, and look where he is now. He's joined the competition. He's in AEW now, so major bomb to say the very least. So and oh yes, Jarrett and Sting. Oh yes. One of the great rivalries in Impact Wrestling history. They main evented Bound for Glory 2006. Sting put his career on the line against Jeff Jarrett for the NWA, the 10 pounds of gold, the Sweet Charlotte, and Kurt Angle was the special enforcer, and Sting went on to win the title. So a lot of history. So not much more to say here. 3.25 for the match. Michael Bullock, I dropped it in our messenger chat, our Talking Wrestling TXN messenger chat. Jeff Jarrett in AEW? What?
It's like, what? I mean, my goodness. I mean, yeah, 3.25, 3.5 for me when it comes to the match. I thought it was a good match here, but we're not talking about the match. We're talking about Jeff Jarrett and AEW, and you want to talk about pouring some gasoline on the fire and then some. Jeff Jarrett, he went to town on everybody in AEW. The commentators, the cameramen, the superstars, and even the fan base. I mean, and Fletch, what were you gonna say? Like, if you were Tony Khan, what would you do?
I don't know because he called the AEW fans toxic and delusional. I mean,
if I was a fan, I would say, you need to look at yourself in the mirror.
I hate to say this, but he isn't completely wrong about AEW fans. But I would never. But then again, I wouldn't poke the bear either. So I mean, he's not wrong, but he's definitely not right either. So
yeah, to me, he's not right as far as I'm concerned, because AEW fans, I mean, they're good when they. They're probably one of the best fans in the world when it comes to professional wrestling. and I'm referring to one of. I mean, and for him to call him toxic and delusional, I'm sorry to say this, Jeff, but you need to look at yourself in the mirror because maybe you could be toxic and delusional. I mean, you've done some things that really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. So I'm not going to get into it. Yeah, well, I don't know, Fletch. Would you count the what he did in that
I agree with what you just said about Jarrett.
Oh,
So no,
no. I was getting ready to mention one of them, like what he did in that parking lot to Ric Flair.
Yeah, like I said, I agree with it.
Yeah, so remember what Jerry Lawler always would say, Jeff Jarrett. Always keep your words soft and sweet because you might have to eat them later. So you just might have angered a lot of people in the back, and they may want a piece of your ass. So we'll see how this goes, but business has definitely picked up. So there's really nothing more to say. It's your Fletch.
Right after that, it was Lee Moriarty going one-on-one with Jon Moxley in an AEW championship eliminator. And it was Jon Moxley winning the match in 10 minutes and 5 seconds. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
3 1/4 stars. Match was good, but would have been even more enjoyable had Moriarty had anything remotely close to momentum on his side entering it. He had no chance in hell of winning, and the fans knew it, hurting the heat, as proven by the mid-match distraction caused by the arrival of Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson, taking the attention away from the combatants between the ropes. It looks like Ethan Page is up next for Jon Moxley as the television program with the firm continues en route to his showdown with MJF at Full Gear. Should be a good match if nothing else. And Ethan Page joined the commentary team and reminded Excalibur and company that Jon Moxley never beat him either, instead winning via referee stoppage, just like he did against Hangman Adam Page. So that's really all there is to say on that. Another 3 to 3 1/4 for me on this. So Michael Bullock, let's be realistic. This was predictable. We knew Moxley was going to win. Moriarty had no chance in hell. And I think the same can be said for All Ego Ethan Page, because it looks like he's going to be the next one up.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. I think Ethan Page is definitely going to be next on the hit list. What was the time of that fall?
10:05.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it about 3, maybe 3 1/4 for the effort here. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say on this. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, 3 1/4, no doubt about it. Solid matchup. Nothing more to say. We'll just move on along. Next up, we did get was Chris Jericho versus Colt Cabana for the Ring of Honor World Title. Chris Jericho wins the match in 9 minutes even. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean Colt Cabana. I mean he was. I think they said that he was a former 2-time Ring of Honor World Champion. So
Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion, former 2-time Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So for this, I'll give it about maybe 2.5 for the effort here. I mean, it was good to see Colt Cabana in action here. So, but then afterwards, I mean, after the match was over, Chris Jericho once again trying to destroy the legacy of Ring of Honor. And who was it that he went after, Fletch?
He went after the commentator again, Ian Riccaboni. Broke his glasses, was about to lay him out with the Ring of Honor belt until Claudio Castagnoli and the Blackpool Combat Club said enough is enough and jumped.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for that Ring of Honor commentator. He didn't do anything wrong, but Jericho decided to be the quote unquote bully, and basically wants to hit him with that title. But Claudio Castagnoli, who was a former Ring of Honor World Champion, started the whole thing saying, "Enough is enough with this whole destroying the Ring of Honor legacy BS," and that's when the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club came out and tried to stop what the Jericho Appreciation Society was doing. And there was one thing I was hoping for in that whole brawl fletch, and that was to see Bryan Danielson get his hands on that turncoat Daniel Garcia. Because
yeah, he never did. I think Wheeler Yuta did, but I never saw Danielson. I think Danielson was preoccupied with Hager. I think it was
but that's
during
what
that
I was
call.
but that's what I was hoping for, because after everything that Bryan Danielson did for him, and he was going to be groomed to be the wrestler babyface, and then after what that turncoat did, I was really hoping Danielson would finally get some payback on. But maybe it'll happen somewhere down the line. But we'll wait and see. But 2.5 stars for the match. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, 2.5 stars. No doubt about it. It was fine for what it was worth. It was all right. Could have been better, but it is what it is. Florio, go ahead.
What was that? 9 minutes even?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll give it a solid 3 for the effort. The Ocho and his challenger had a perfectly acceptable wrestling match in which the outcome was never in dispute. Colt Cabana was fine. Things picked up moments later with the brawl between the Jericho Appreciation Society and the Blackpool Combat Club on the stage. But even that felt lackluster based on the fact that we have seen the two factions feud for over half a year at this point. Why is every Chris Jericho program in this company the longest ever, far outlasting its usefulness and limping to a conclusion rather than settling when it should have? These two factions seemingly settled their differences in the blood and guts match. And if that is not the case, why even book that match in the first place? That's what happens when you don't have a clear creative direction. And Jericho claimed he could kick Lamar Jackson's ass, drawing a loud reaction from the NFL, from the crowd, and a classic camera shot of the former NFL MVP biting his nails, totally coincidentally, but a money shot nonetheless. So, but I'll give it 3 for the effort. And this feud with the Blackpool Combat Club and the Jericho Appreciation Society, it's gone on almost as long as the Hatfields and the McCoys, for goodness sakes. So who knows? Who knows when that's going to end? So, but because it's been going on for several months now. So, and that blood and guts match was what, 4 months ago, end of June?
About 4 months ago.
And they're still going at it.
Yep.
Okay. But we'll see what happens. So, not much more for me to say. Solid 3 for the effort. Surprising to see Colt Cabana back, because I know he's had a lot of issues. But I'm glad to see him back. So not much more to say there. 3 for me. So let's continue on.
All right. All Atlantic title on the line. Champion Orange Cassidy versus Rey Fenix versus Luchasaurus. And when it was all said and done, the winner in 9 minutes and 50 seconds, still the All Atlantic champion, was Orange Cassidy. Pac hits the ring after the match to attack, but then Shibata from New Japan Pro Wrestling, that forbidden door broke open again. This time Shibata from New Japan goes through it. And guys, get ready. Atlantic City, New Jersey, Boardwalk Hall. You got yourself a hell of a match. Shibata versus Orange Cassidy for the All Atlantic Championship on Friday night. Oh my goodness. What a matchup that's going to be. The match itself was about 3 stars. Good for what it was worth. Nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Another 9 minute or so match, you said?
Yep.
All right. This was about 3 1/4 to 3.5 for the effort. And all right. A lot to dissect here when it comes to this. There was way too much going on here, and it badly distracted from the match and its quality. Jungle Boy attacking Luchasaurus was great, but there was no real interaction between Orange Cassidy and Rey Fenix, just a rush to the finish. The post-match stuff with Shibata chasing off Pac only to challenge the man he just saved for the All-Atlantic title made little sense. Too many moving parts, like most of the show. It was too overly complicated for its own good, and the result was a bit of an underwhelming match featuring at least two guys who have been synonymous with strong ring work of late. But hey, at least the Shibata deal probably made some of the New Japan fans happy, so at least there's that. Cassidy and Phoenix mounted a comeback, but Luchasaurus halted their momentum and chokeslammed the ladder through the timekeeper's table. And on the apron, Luchasaurus attempted a chokeslam on the stage, only for Jungle Boy to attack with a steel chair. Christian Cage attempted to cut him off, only to be chased out of the arena. And the babyface delivered a crossbody to his former friend and partner through a table. Very cool spot. I like that spot. But 3 1/4, 3.5. I agree with the ratings. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on all this? Okay.
Yeah, this was about another. This was about a 3 1/4 to 3.5 star match. I mean, I thought this was a good match here. I mean, the outcome was never in doubt. I mean, there was no doubt that this was going to be. The outcome was never in doubt. But yeah, the Forbidden Door opened and the New Japan Pro Wrestling guy came, and yeah, now he's going to be facing Orange Cassidy this Friday night live on AEW Rampage. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. And Fletch, before we move on, I mean, we got some breaking news when it comes to the World Series.
Bullock, don't mention it. Don't mention it. Don't mention it. No. Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. We know. We know. We're watching.
Don't say it.
We're watching. We know.
We're watching.
All right.
You know the rules.
So
Come on,
I guess that's okay. So my way of saying move on.
Yeah. No. Don't go there. We know what's going on. Commentators curse. We're not doing it, Bullock. Don't, please. We've been caught in that net way too many times. Way too many times.
I was responsible for one. I remember.
Huh?
I remember. I believe I was responsible for that once.
Yeah, and it blew up on my face once before. I posted it on Facebook and it blew up. So no. Bullock. No, my friend. Do not do that. Don't do that. If it happens, then we'll talk about it. But right now, we'll leave it at that. All right. Jade Cargill versus Marina Shafir. Jade Cargill wins the match in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. We're not going to get into that. That's a yawner. Main event for Samoa Joe versus Brian Cage for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. Samoa Joe wins the match in 11 minutes and 20 seconds. Anthony Floyo, you lead off.
I would say by default, this was the fight of the night. I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. Be a man fight, physical match as expected. It saw Brian Cage get some solid offense in before Samoa Joe caught him with mine and Bullock's favorite name of a submission move. Bullock, you know it, you love it. The Coquita Clutch. You know how much Bullock and I love that. And scored the submission win. And after the match, the Gates of Agony attacked, drawing Wardlow out for the save. And instead of the babyfaces standing tall, Powerhouse Hobbs returned and laid out the War Dog to close the show. And it made sense that Tony Khan actively attempted to highlight Ring of Honor in a city, Baltimore, Maryland, that had become synonymous with the brand before he bought it. But this was not exactly the most electric way to end the show. Samoa Joe and Brian Cage worked hard and delivered a quality heavyweight clash, but everything after it only served to highlight issues with the current product. The Embassy is a faction that has not been nearly defined enough for people to care, meaning Brian Cage was not over enough as the heel challenger, and the Gates of Agony continue to come across as just two guys doing generic heel stuff. Powerhouse Hobbs popping back up as a potential challenger to Wardlow is a welcome creative decision, but everything else about this felt flatter than one would expect from a show taking place in a historic wrestling city like Baltimore, Maryland. And Hobbs' spinebuster to Wardlow was an impressive spot and an emphatic announcement by Powerhouse that he's coming for the TNT Championship. And that match should be, to quote old JR, a slobber knocker. And I could see it possibly happening maybe at Full Gear. Maybe we'll see Wardlow and Powerhouse Hobbs for the TNT Championship. So only time will tell what happens with that. But a 3.5-star match by default. This was the fight of the night for me. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, Samoa Joe, winning the match with our favorite move, our favorite submission move that we know and love so much. You know it and you love it. Like I said,
The Coquita Clutch.
Coquita Clutch. All yours.
Yeah. Once he gets that on you, it's game over. It's match over, and that was the case for Brian Cage. So 3.5 stars. This was the fight of the night, and now it looks like Wardlow, who came to help out, looks like he's got a new problem, and that's Powerhouse Hobbs. So, that he's coming for the TNT Championship. So we'll wait and see how that whole thing goes. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So let's move on, Fletch.
Yeah, no doubt, solid. 3.5. No doubts about that. Solid main event. Michael Bullock, you lead off on the overall review, and then we'll get into the Thursday Night Football.
I thought it was a good show, and I actually thought it was better than NXT. So I'll give this about maybe 7 to 7.5. I mean, you had some good things. There were some things that I thought that could have been better, but it is what it is. So 7.5. It's your Fletch.
Yeah, 7.5. There's no doubt about it. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
7.5 for me. Some of the matches could have been better, but they were all solid. Not really anything overly spectacular. Some okay angle advancement, and we continue onward and upward to Full Gear. So with that, MF, let's get into Thursday Night Football. Not the best of matchups this time around after two good ones the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, not the best matchup, no doubt about it. However, in the spirit of this rivalry between Philadelphia and Houston, got to playing it in the World Series right now. How coincidence that this is happening? The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Houston Texans as your Thursday night game. I mean, that's insanity. The NFL, did the NFL and Major League Baseball kind of work together on this one? Just to kind of give us this matchup at the same time? I mean, how on earth did that happen? But whatever the case may be, here it is. Eagles versus the Texans. Game from NRG Stadium in Houston. Amazon Prime for you fans in the United States. You can watch it on The Zone, wherever you are around the world. In Canada, you get to watch that game there. The Philadelphia Eagles are a major favorite. The betting line is, I believe, 13.5 points. The over-under at 45.5. I gotta go with the Eagles, man. They're just a dominant team right now. AJ Brown, you could say, is maybe a candidate for MVP right now because of how amazing he's been playing. Jalen Hurts has been doing great. The defense looks stopped. I just don't see Houston making this any type of a game. This is going to be an easy victory for Philadelphia. I think they'll win this one. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
All right. So you know me, I'll do my traditional setup. MF covered the other bit of it. Yes, I also have 13.5 as the spread for Philadelphia. Amazon Prime Video, you know how it is. That's Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, Kaylee Hartung as always. And for those of you in the Philadelphia and Houston areas who don't have Amazon Prime Video, for the people of Philadelphia, you can watch the game on WPHL 17 in Philadelphia. That's a My Network affiliate, by the way. I looked into it earlier. as is the affiliate in Houston. KTXH My 20 in Houston. So for Philly, it's WPHL 17. Houston, KTXH My 20. That's how the people of Philly and Houston could watch this game tomorrow night. For those who do not have Amazon Prime Video, like we do, but nonetheless, there's obviously not too much of a series history because Houston's only been in the league for 20 years, but they've met 5 times. And by the way, guys, Philadelphia has won all 5 times. Last meeting was 2018 in Philadelphia. Philly won 32-30 in a wild shootout. Last meeting in Houston, 2014, Philly also won 31-21. So there isn't much to say on this. The Eagles have the versatile offense to dominate either running or passing, often with Jalen Hurts. Texans cannot stop any kind of rushing attack in their cover 2 zone with Coach Lovie Smith. It's rather predictable for Philadelphia's short to intermediate passing game. Davis Mills will be swarmed by another tough overall defense at home. Easy win. This is the lock of the week. I'm already calling it. Philly wins going away 38-10. Not much more to say. Michael Bullock, take it home.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with the Eagles still going in undefeated, and of course with the way the Texans are, I mean, this has got the recipe for a long night for the Houston Texans. So I got the Eagles winning this one in a lapper. So there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, let's put a bow on this.
Yep, tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern, will be another edition of the College Football Thursday. And yes, guys, the rankings came out. The college football playoff rankings came out. So we will be doing things a little differently. Our stats or everything that we do will be reflective under the college football rankings. So we'll playoff rankings. So you'll see that. Then we're gonna do all the action there Friday night. Cerebral Smack Talk. We're gonna be talking about SmackDown Live. We're talking about AEW Rampage, and I believe we're previewing Crown Jewel. Isn't this the Crown Jewel event we're previewing, guys? Isn't this the night?
Yes, it is.
All right, so we'll be previewing Crown Jewel. Saturday will be NFL Saturday, and then we'll come back on Sunday night for the recap of Crown Jewel. We'll do that about 10:30 on Sunday night. So that's our layout, and then we do it all over again with Monday with Ridiculously Raw. So for Anthony Floyo, for Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night.